On this episode of The Local Click, we speak with CNS Farms and we speak with Town and Lake Realty and Auction, both in Smithville. Of course, Justin's back with lots of tech news and tech tips like we always do. And we're going to kind of celebrate a little bit of a milestone with the program, so stay tuned.
Learn more about fun local events and interesting people throughout the heart of Middle Tennessee with a dash of everyday tech talk thrown in for good measure. The Local Click starts now.
Welcome to The Local Click. The Local Click is the technology-based podcast brought to you by DTC Communications each and every month, where we talk all things technology and interesting people. And joining me on this episode, like I always have, is Justin Malden. Hello, Justin. How are you doing today?
I am doing well now that we are in this room in this air conditioning.
Yes, it's been unbelievably hot in July, so I don't know if August will be that much better, but it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many days we are. I lost track of being over the 90-degree threshold that they have been monitoring for our area, but it has been a scorcher. That is for sure. We started this year off. It was a really wet spring, and now we've transitioned into the summer, and we're getting a little bit of sporadic relief with rain mixed in with this heat. But yeah, it's been intense.
It's been a little,
I guess.
Been a little hardcore.
Yeah, I walked out of my father-in-law's house yesterday, and I looked at his yard, and I said, "Hey, how come you got so much dead grass out here?"
There's something about that.
I can't imagine why this is happening right now.
Well, speaking of heat, is there something that your family likes to do to kind of cool off in the summer? I mean, as far as, I don't know if it's like vacation related, like go to the pool or maybe try different climates during the summer. I don't know. Do you have anything you guys typically do? Or?
The only thing that we'll do when we have time, because I mean we're busy and going with everything that goes on. Honestly, the easiest thing that the boys like to do is we pull the sprinkler out.
Oh, there you go.
Yard,
yeah,
they just play in the sprinkler and have a good time with the water. Now, we do have some neighbors that have pools, so on occasion they will dip into the pools. But it's fascinating to me with people that have pools. Again, we don't have one, but several of our neighbors do. Nobody seems to use a pool as much as you would think they would, especially during this hot weather with as much upkeep and maintenance and time that you've got to put into keeping it ready to go.
And it is a lot of work.
Yeah. What about you? Do y'all have anything that you like to do?
No, but it's kind of funny when you were mentioning some of the things the kids like to do. It brought me back to my childhood and the memories of that. I remember having a slip and slide when they first came out. Did you ever have one of those growing up?
You know, we had slip and slides growing up, but listen, we built a slip and slide a few weeks ago. I took some time off of work to go do an annual tradition that I have, and that is going to summer Bible camp. And there's a creek where we're at, but unfortunately it had risen so high and it had stayed flooded. It was a muddy mess. And so we didn't get to utilize it as much as we normally do. So in preparation for that, we went and made a homemade slip and slide for
now that sounds exciting.
Yeah, for the kids to do. So it wasn't an off the shelf slip and slide.
Totally custom.
Yes, it was a custom one, and kids love that. So yeah,
that's
I haven't.
Cool.
I don't know that I've ever actually bought one for my kids though.
Let me give you a little tip, and everyone out there, I guess, a little tip. When it comes to slip and slides, there's one very, very important safety note. Are you ready? Make sure there are no rocks under your slip and slide in your yard. It's not a good day. And
that you can stop. I don't think people anticipate it's
stopping.
It's going to end. Now, where are you going to end?
Yeah, with momentum. Yeah, that's true.
At the end, are you going to stop with it, or because sometimes you increase those angles and you just keep going?
Maybe it's best not to have that tree at the end of the slip and slide, right?
Yeah, some considerations
that
to be given there. That could be
bad memories you're making there. That's a good point, too. See, we're just trying to keep everybody safe out there. We want you to have an enjoyable summer, but keep safe. That's right. We all have to kind of figure out something to do. Of course, stay hydrated and that sort of thing. And might be a great day to go go ice skating or find some kind of indoor activity with lots of coolness.
Did you just say ice skating?
I did.
In the middle of summer in Middle Tennessee, we have lots of sheets of ice in Middle Tennessee.
You can go to is it Pigeon Forge that has the indoor?
Ober-Gatlinburg.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Ober-Gatlinburg does.
I remember doing that many years ago, but that's a great place to be when it's hot outside.
Yeah, so if you want to drive a couple hours,
it's not that far.
You can go to the ice skating.
That's right. I expect you to go before the next episode. I want a full report.
No, you do not want to see me ice. I don't want to see me. Nobody wants to see.
Nobody deserves that.
Me attempt to ice skate. Justin in balance has never been a thing that went hand in hand. Well, so I'm sure it would be entertaining for everybody else.
Well, part of life is just knowing your own limitations. Yeah. So it sounds like you know those. So that's good. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun on today's program. We've got a lot of guests on today's show, as we always do. Later on in the program, we'll talk all things real estate with Betsy Smith and Ron Knopp, both with Town and Lake Realty and Auction in Smithville. But first, we're going to talk to Clark and Shara Adcock with CNS Farms in Smithville. And for this segment of The Local Click, we are very lucky to have Clark and Shara Adcock with CNS Farms in Smithville. Give you a little confession, I may not be the most knowledgeable farm or agriculture person. So you guys may be in for it today. You may have a lot of work.
That's okay. We're here to help.
That's good. That's good. I might need it. So before we get started, though, let's kind of get to know both of you as a person. If you want to introduce yourself and just kind of tell us about your ties to DeKalb County agriculture. Clark, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Smithville, DeKalb, went to high school there. We both actually went to UT Martin to college, got a degree in agriculture business.
Okay.
And came back to Smithville, obviously, and did some farming and rodeoing, and then eventually opened up CNS Farms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Got a little rodeo side
sir.
venture there. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I don't know a lot about as well. So what about you, Shara?
Pretty similar. Obviously, we're siblings, so we grew up here. Like you said, we both went to Martin, came back. Didn't really know what I wanted to do after school, so we kind of went back to the agricultural roots and ended up with CNS Farms.
Now, are you in the rodeo circuit as well? Are you doing any of that?
I am, but less important than Clark in the rodeo.
Okay. That's great. I think if I was in the rodeo business, I think I wouldn't make it very long.
It's
we could get
tough.
you on a bull if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I better stick to podcasting. How about that? I think that might be a little bit safer. So that's pretty interesting, though. Is that something that you both kind of just always wanted to do, or were you raised around that, or how did that get started?
Yeah, our dad has always been into rodeo, and our uncles as well. So we grew up rodeoing, and have kind of always been involved in that.
Okay.
It's kind of like farming, I guess. It's a lifestyle. It's what we grew up doing, so we don't know anything else.
Well, it's working. That's all that matters,
there
right?
You go.
There you go. Well, tell me about, I know you mentioned you both studied at UT Martin, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of where your, I guess, formal business training started, or how did you kind of learn the business side of being in agriculture and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we both got a degree in ag business, like I said, minored in marketing. I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial mindset. I feel like I always like to buy stuff, sell stuff, trade. So that's kind of my forte. That's what I enjoy doing. Shara is much more efficient at bookkeeping and record keeping and the accounting side. So that's kind of, we know our roles and know what we do well and lean on the other one to pick up our slack. So
right.
That's how we work well together, I think.
Let's talk about CNS Farms. Talk about, I guess, your primary product offerings. I know you guys have a lot that you're involved with. I don't know if you want to even know where to start on this because you guys, I mean, you're very well-rounded in your product offerings and that sort of thing. But tell us about some of the things that you offer.
Yeah, so our main thing is the beef cattle. We grow most of the beef cattle there on our farm. We offer pork and lamb as well. That's not something that we grow from start to finish on our farm, but we do source it locally.
Okay.
Then, of course, we have our local honey, dairy products, ice cream, milk, stuff like that. And then we have local eggs that are grown in the community by the chickens lay the eggs, obviously. But like I said, the beef cattle is our main focus. And that's what we do from start to finish, the cow-calf operation and finishing out the cattle.
Okay.
So that's what we really take pride in, the good beef.
Yeah.
We know what we're feeding them. Nothing gets added to them during the processing. They're taken to a USDA facility, inspected there, but there's no additives or hormones or anything pumped into that stuff. So it's very clean, healthy stuff.
And that was kind of going to be one of the questions I kind of wanted to talk about, because I really think it's such an important part of kind of what you guys do in businesses like yours. But what does it mean to be local when it comes to sourcing your food?
Pretty much the heart of the whole business. Obviously, we're local. We serve the local community. All of our cattle is local. All of the livestock is local. The ones that we don't raise are still from DeKalb or surrounding counties. And that all ties into, we raise them local, they're processed local, they're fed from local sources. Everything is right here. And obviously that ties into the business side of things. Spending money in your community.
Right.
That money goes back to the community. We're involved in as many give backs, I guess, as we can be a part of.
Be good stewards of the things you were given, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about relationships.
And it always comes back to that.
Oh, yeah.
That key word, relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what keeps people coming back too, isn't it?
It is.
Because you build that relationship early on and it makes them almost like a sticky customer, right? It keeps them coming back to shop more. So what are some of the things that the customers say about your products and why they keep coming back?
We have a high success rate of return customers, I guess you could say. We're not cheaper than the grocery store, but we're fairly competitive. But once somebody tries the meat, they almost always come back and they say, we can't go back to the store to buy it anymore. It just don't taste the same. Mm-hmm. So that's, we take pride in that. Yeah. We also have some great help in the store. Callie and Laurel work for us there, do a great job running that and have great customer service. So we get compliments on them as well. But between the staff and the products, I think we have a good rate of return.
Yeah. So you kind of got both sides of the business equation figured out almost. You got the product that everybody likes, but also the service.
Yeah.
I know you're siblings, so I can imagine for some families, maybe that would be a difficult thing, working with your brother or sister, every day, every business day. But you guys really make it work. And so tell me, what is that like? And is that a blessing as far as running the business?
It is. We're blessed to come from a great family. We're all pretty laid back, honestly. We don't get many quarrels or anything. We just let it roll off and go on. A lot of people say, I can never work with my sibling, which I see that sometimes. Yeah. But Shara and I get along great. Like I said, we know what our job is and what we do well, and we stay out of the other one's way when it's not our turn.
Shara, is that the key? Knowing when to step back?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, we do get along really well. We, like he said, we know each other's strong suits, but we both are capable of handling all sides of it. So if there's something, if Clark's out of town, I can handle it. If I'm out of town, he can handle it. It goes both ways.
Yeah. So. And there's got to be a built-in trust there because, you know each other so well.
Right.
You've grown up together, so it's not like when one has to leave, you really worry about things because you know the business is in good hands, right?
Especially with Callie and Laurel there. So I can call them and have them keep Clark in line while I'm gone.
Oh, there you go. You got somebody to lean on. Is that what
right.
you're saying? Yeah. If you had to choose maybe what your most popular items that people come in for, I know you mentioned, I guess maybe ground beef and beef products, right? That sort of thing. Would you say that be the most popular? But I'm sure there's more than that, right?
Probably our two most popular cuts are the ribeye steaks, which they're cut 1.25 inches. So they're nice, thick steaks.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep those in the fillets. And then our other cut would be the cured bacon. It's a very popular item.
And that's locally sourced as well, right?
It is, yeah. Comes from the hogs and the cattle that we process.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all local.
Even if it's something that you're not raising on your own farm, so to speak, you probably have a vested interest to make sure it's almost like these people you're working with are vetted, right?
Oh,
to make sure that you want to have them as part of your product inventory.
Yeah, we
right?
trust their products and what they raise. Like I said, we eat it all the time, so we want it clean as well.
That's right. That's true. And that's something I think a lot of people don't realize too. I mean, you are your own customer as well because you have a vested interest also in that, right?
Absolutely.
So some people may not think there's not a lot of technology when it comes to farming, but actually that'd be quite the opposite. It's probably not too hard to find it. How important is technology and internet and that sort of thing as far as keeping the business running? Is that an important aspect?
It's very important. We have obviously our credit card machine. We take all of that is connected to the internet.
For
all
your
of that
payment
is,
processing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the payment processing. We're in the process of merging over to a new inventory system too. So that's very important with that.
The key is not to run out, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's a blessing to sell out of something.
You want to sell exactly how much you have.
Exactly. But it does you no good if people come in wanting to spend money with you and
Right.
you don't have it. So I guess that is true, isn't it? Having a good inventory system is key.
It is.
All right. So I bet everyone's hungry. Everyone's ready to come find you guys. They're ready to go buy some of that great bacon you just talked about or something else. So what's the best way for everyone to keep in touch with what you're doing to learn about you, your hours and your location, that sort of thing?
Yeah, our hours are 9 to 6 through the week. We extended those this past year to keep everyone, we had some complaints that people weren't able to get there through the week if they were working. So we opted to stay open until 6. So that's helped a lot. Then on Saturdays from 8:30 to 2. So even if you work Saturday mornings, you can hopefully get there early afternoon. And it has helped our business, I think, to do that.
Yeah.
Facebook is probably where we interact the most. We are working on upgrading our website and getting that new inventory system merged onto there. So hopefully that'll be up and running shortly. We're on Instagram as well. And then our location is 612 South Congress Boulevard in Smithville. And that's next to Webb's Pharmacy and across from Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah. And what's your phone number?
615-464-7673.
All right. There it is. No one has an excuse.
There you
Miss
go.
out on some of the great vittles, right?
That's right.
That's right. I need to stop by. I'm excited about that. I've driven by it several times, but I haven't had a chance to stop live from spinning so fast that I could stop in and check it out. So I'm going to have to do that.
We'll hold you to that.
I'm ready. Well, thanks so much for being on the program and good luck with everything. And like I said, you'll see me stop by one day.
That sounds great.
I'll come by hungry, so I'll buy a lot. Okay.
That's right.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. CNS Farms, thanks for being on the program. Everyone stay tuned. We got more of the show coming up in just a moment.
Gaming builds real skills for real careers in esports and beyond. Project manager, content creator, customer service rep, software developer. Build your skills with Fiber Gaming Network and DTC. Learn more at fibergamingnetwork.com.
Do you know what room the router's in? I can't get onto my Zoom meeting.
Try it in our spacious new family room.
Okay. Still not working.
Try it in our beautiful backyard.
Still nothing!
Your new home checked everything off your list, except for internet from DTC.
Oh, come on!
Sign up at dtccom.net for fast and reliable internet.
And welcome back to the program. I'm going to throw the microphone over to Justin for this part of the show, like we do each month, for his segment we call Justin's Tech Tips.
Well, Nick, recently, something that I have been enjoying is every day I get a buzz on my watch. I keep up with it throughout the day, but I get a buzz that lets me know when I have closed all of my fitness rings for the day on my Apple Watch.
Well,
And it's pretty fascinating to have motivation right on my wrist to try to stay healthy and to be mindful of my activity levels. And so today I want to dive into how smart watches and smartphones have transformed health tracking, especially in 2025. Because I think it's something that, the more I've thought about it, especially over these past few months as I've been trying to make a lifestyle change myself, how transformative it really can be in helping your mindset, in hitting whatever your goals are and being very data driven in that aspect, not just setting goals, but being able to track it and know what the data says. And so there's so many things that you can utilize, from, just step tracking to nutrition logs to exercise tracking, whatever it may be. It's already helped millions, and it can help you too. If you're one of these things, maybe you're already doing something, but it can help you stay on top of your wellness goals.
right.
And so the first thing we're going to look at is, if you remember old school pedometers, You'd stick on. They'd help keep track of, how much you were walking and how many steps you were taking. And I don't know how accurate those things were back in the day, but now, it is just exploded when it comes to wearables in particular. We're not tied down to just a little pedometer now. Smart watches you have some that are specialty designed that are just for fitness. So you have Coros and Whoop, or maybe you have Garmin or Fitbit, which is under Google now. All of those are specific purposes. Now, my go-to is an Apple Watch because I'm in that Apple ecosystem, and so it does multiple other things too.
I've had both. I've had a Fitbit and I've had an Apple Watch, but I didn't realize there were all those other ones as well.
Yes,
you don't think about some of the other brands.
There's so many out there. So whatever it may be, it can be any of these, or it can be another third-party tracker. There's so many out there. So as we go through all of this, understand, if you're interested in this, there is something out there that can help you utilize it. And now these do basic functions such as tracking your steps. Now, the way it tracks steps, I'm sure is a lot different because, these watches have, motion sensors built into them and air pressure sensors built into them and GPS built into them so that they can be very, very accurate. So, they can track your movement. They can track your heart rate, and what your heart rate is. Maybe they can do an ECG. They can track your sleep. Okay, when I say tracking sleep, it can use your heart rate, it can use your temperature, it can use your movement, not only just to track, you're sleeping, but what stage of sleep you're in.
How well you're sleeping.
Yeah, so it can track the quality. It can track maybe your stress through heart rate variability. It can track and tell you SpO2. Now, everything I've mentioned is not a feature of every smart watch. One thing that I utilize it for is I track my sleep and I track my heart rate variability. And what that does is it tells me how well is my body responding to the things that I'm doing. And, whether you're an athlete, you don't have to be an athlete to utilize all these things. Right. If you are just interested in general health and fitness, then all of these things apply to you. But if you're somebody who is trying to figure out, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Listen, all of this data can be used and put together to help tell you that, to tell you these things that, hey, you need to give your body a break, or hey, really, you can push it a little bit further if you want to, because it is amazing the amount of data that you can get. Now, one thing that is really interesting with these devices is you can use them as motivation, and that's part of what I use it for. Like I'm telling you, when I push every day to close, Apple Fitness has 3 rings. Okay, so you have move, you have stand, and you have exercise. Okay, and you can customize and you can tailor these. Right. I shoot for 750 active calories is what it's monitored on move, which is not trying to get into fitness and metabolic rate here. It's not your basic metabolic rate. It is what you are doing that's actively going above and beyond what it takes for your body just to function on a daily basis. So you're actually having to exert and put forth effort in order to burn these. Yeah. So, but the thing is, when I close those rings, it feels like a win, right? It's something measurable, something that I can shoot for. And what's also interesting, and this applies with Apple and other third parties, is you can get into competition with friends. And so I have a couple buddies of mine that we attempt to see who can outdo each other, right? And so we're competing against each other too, right? So
you make it fun almost.
It's a competition, yeah. You can enjoy it, right? So it lets you, it lets you be motivated. Okay, I have a goal that I'm going towards, but also you can have the accountability aspect in that regards, or if you're going against somebody else or sharing this information with somebody else, because sometimes you may not be as accountable as you should to yourself. Another thing that these devices can do is give you health insights as well. And I kind of told you can utilize it to help track training load. But what's interesting is when you're tracking sleep is, most of these devices can keep up with your respiratory rate. Okay. And again, it keeps up with your heart rate. So it will know, one thing that I know people are much more aware of now is sleeping disturbances and sleep apnea. And so if you're wearing one of these, you may not know that you're having sleeping disturbance. When I say that, that means you've stopped breathing in the middle of the night. It can help track those things. And if it notices, hey, this is happening way more than it should, it will recommend, hey, you need to, here's an alert. You need to go get this seen about. Same thing with an ECG is if you run one of the ECGs and it says, hey, you have an irregular rhythm. You need to go see a cardiologist for this. Or, hey, we've been tracking, you're running high temperatures, or, maybe you're not feeling well. Again, your SpO2, if you have a device that does it, hey, it's low, so that may be an indication that you're not feeling well, you're ill, or there's something else going on. So we need to let you know, notify that. I think the most aggravating one that I get is you're in a noisy environment. Okay, you're too loud. It's like you need to avoid noisy environments because you don't want to hurt your hearing health, right? The long-term hearing health. One, it's never happened, but it's one that I didn't know about until I was digging into settings at one point, is walking steadiness. And where it will know it, these smart devices know what your rhythm is when you're walking, and it can detect, even if it's your left or right foot, whether your walking steadiness has changed. And there's things such as fall detection. I mean, all these things that are now built in to give you health insights to really know what your body is doing. And so when you go to the doctor too, you can utilize this to say, hey, here's some things that have been happening. This is what's happened with me. Nutrition tracking too is something, you go back old school. How did you used to keep track of what you did? You had a food journal, right? You had a food journal. You do a food log, and you
write it down.
Yeah, and those have been used in health, not necessarily just for fitness, but allergy tracking and other things as well that goes into. But nutrition logging is huge.
Sure.
Now, where you can track macronutrients, so where all your calories are coming from, whether it's a fat, a protein, a carbohydrate, but then micronutrients. Are you getting enough vitamins and minerals that you're supposed to be getting in as well? And again, it can tell you, hey, you're not getting enough copper. Okay, again, copper deficiency apparently is something that's huge now.
Wow.
Where people they're not consuming enough copper in their diets.
Yeah.
And so, it's, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping or having trouble with this. Well, it's okay. Well, maybe you're not getting enough. I don't know that it's vitamin D, but I'm just going to throw vitamin D out there. But there's one caveat to all this that I do want to end with. Don't become obsessed with it. Don't let it stress you out. If you're like, well, my goal was to do this and I didn't hit my goal, or, I cheated on a meal or whatever it may be, right? Don't let it stress you out, right? These are tools that can help you. These are not the end all be all, but they are tools that can assist you in becoming healthier and in your fitness journey. And it's not just for athletes. The thing is it will help you make your health goals achievable.
And for this segment of the Local Click, we have Ron Knopp and Betsy Smith, both with Town Lake Realty and Auction in Smithville. Hello, how are you both doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being on the program. We're excited to learn more about what you guys do. And there's one thing for certain, there's plenty to talk about when it comes to real estate because it's such a busy market. So we'll get into some of those things here in just a minute. But first, I always like to kind of learn more about you personally, on the show, and kind of introduce you guys to everyone and learn just a little bit about you and kind of where you're from and how you got to where you are today. So we'll start with Ron, if you don't mind. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, I'm just a little old country boy. I was raised in southern Kansas, and my father owned a livestock market there, and so I wanted to be an auctioneer. They made a little more than the guys in the back with the shovel, so I just really loved it and wanted to get into that, and so I've spent 40 years doing that.
Oh,
so
wow, that's awesome.
I just absolutely love it.
And so you said you're from Kansas originally?
I am from Kansas.
Okay, which part?
Southwest.
Okay.
100 miles west of Dodge.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Betsy?
Born and raised in DeKalb County.
Okay.
And I have a background in sales. I used to be a traveling sales rep. And then many years ago, we were preparing my mother's house to be sold. And during that process, I decided that this was where I was supposed to be. So pursued my license, and I came off the road, and technically still on the road a lot, but now I sell real estate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes life will send you on a journey that you don't realize where you'll end up at right after.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what it did.
That's neat. That's really neat. Well, describe Town and Lake Realty and Auction and the services that you offer, as well as kind of what you feel set you apart maybe from other similar businesses.
I think probably one thing that really sets us apart is we are a multi-service real estate agency. We have, of course, the real estate part, which is what the company was originally started with. But we also have the auction, as Ron was just mentioning. And then we also have property management.
Oh, okay.
So we've got anything has to do with real estate, we can cover a client.
It sounds like you guys have a big knowledge base to lean on to with each other. A lot of people that have been in this business for quite a while.
Yes, we do. We've got agents that have been having their license for over 25 years. And then we've got, new agents that's only had it for a very short time.
Right. And you kind of learn the different strengths and attributes that people bring to the business when you work with a lot of people that just come from different backgrounds and that sort of thing.
That is very true.
Yeah. Here's a question that I think about myself, and I know others probably do too, but is there a best time to buy or sell a home?
There's definitely peak seasons when the market is typically a little hotter, as we would refer to. Typically, the spring season for our area usually starts in the March time frame.
Okay.
And that's typically when it starts picking up, but we buy and sell all year long.
I know there's many out there that would like to buy or sell a home, but maybe they're intimidated by the negotiation process or just, having the knowledge of what to do, because it can be complicated. Is that something that you guys try to help the buyers and sellers with, depending on who you're representing there?
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter if we're representing the buyers or the sellers, either way. That's the purpose in having a real estate agent. You've got a professional that has been trained, has experience. They are ethical, so they can carry you through the process from the very beginning of just answering questions all the way to the closing table when all the documents are signed.
That's awesome. As far as auctioning goes, Ron, when would you say were maybe some of the best times or reasons that maybe someone would choose to go the auction route versus just a standard listing?
Well, if say you have an estate or you're just wanting to sell your house and it's full of furniture and belongings that you really don't know what to do with, I think the auction way and true price discovery is just great. If you're advertised and can get a crowd to come, the auction is fun and the family enjoys it and the buyers, people just love to go to an auction. There's an
excitement there for sure, isn't there?
Yes, we create urgency. We definitely want some excitement, laugh and fun. It's just it's a good time. And I think it's the way to disperse your goods. It's great. It helps everyone. So
yeah. I always like the atmosphere at auctions. And I don't know, even if you go and you're not really buying anything, it's just fun to be around them. I don't know, there's something electric about it. And I know you and your profession, people in your profession have a lot to do with it because you're kind of building that excitement and getting people interested in it and that sort of thing. So do you ever see people their eyes just kind of light up the minute the auction starts and you just see almost like their excitement level goes
adrenaline.
Up. Adrenaline. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Do you ever see that in people's faces?
I do immediately. Yeah. And if you don't have any, I'm going to try and put some there. That's my job.
And that's your job. That's right.
It's exactly right. I'm to get you excited and to get you interested in what we're pushing. So.
Yeah. I love that though.
Yes.
That's why I like even if I'm not going to necessarily buy something, I just like to be around them. I just think it's fun. So, do you have any tips for anyone that's ready to sell a home that can help make a property more viable and more lucrative to those in the market to buy one?
Yeah, and our agents can always help with this, of course, but get things cleaned up, cleaned out, Sometimes a fresh coat of paint does wonders for a home.
And a minimal investment a lot of times for,
Yes.
for the difference it can make, right?
Absolutely. Curb appeal is really important. You don't have to spend a fortune, but you can just do small things to tidy up the outside. You want to make pictures look good. So when that realtor brings in our professional photographers to take the photos, that is your first impression for the entire market that's going to consider purchasing your home.
I think that's something too, what you just mentioned, I haven't really thought about, but it's such a great asset when you're working with a company like yours is having those professional contacts like photographers that can really bring the most out of your property, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to have a good photographer. If not, your photos are going to just be, second par. They're not going to match up to anybody that is doing it. And so you want to present your property in the best possible way that you can. We also have other things that we can line up. We have home inspectors that have a lot of our clients have used that have great reviews that will help you with that. Termite inspections. If you needed to get an appraisal done prior, we've got people that we can connect you with there. So we're completely a full house real estate company. We can help you with every aspect.
That's such an important part of it too, because most people don't do this often enough to build those relationships with those kinds of companies and professionals, right?
Absolutely.
So you kind of take the guesswork out of it and it makes it a little bit less stressful.
Yes,
I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
We've got those connections. We can connect you with somebody. Even if you need a handyman, we can connect you with a handyman. You need something hauled off, we can help you connect with somebody to do that as well.
Even some yard work or something to make it more presentable, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's important.
It is.
Is there a typical time frame when it comes to buying or selling a home in general?
In regards to time frame, it fluctuates with the market fluctuating, to be honest with you. As I said earlier, the spring market was a little bit slower this year starting up. So that took a little bit of time for most people that were putting on the market at that point. Properties were sitting on it just a little bit longer because the buyers were delayed just a little bit on their picking up their spring season, so to speak. But there's other factors like interest rates.
Sure, yeah.
Those things like that have factors in it as well.
So it's really, there's no specific amount of time. It really kind of varies and probably quite variable at different years, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes around the holidays, it will slow down if a home is occupied because people don't necessarily want to move around the holidays.
Right.
But otherwise, we're buying and sell year round.
If you have a home that you want to sell, how do you determine what to list it at, what price to list it at? And how do you figure that sort of thing out?
Well, there is an on-site place that you should not go for their estimate because it's not accurate. But if you'll get in touch with an agent that is educated, they can run comps for you and give you an idea on, based on what the market is currently in,
right,
what you should expect. So we would suggest what you to list for it and what you expect to get out of the home.
So you can look at basically what similar homes to yours in the similar area. Is that what you're saying when you say comps? You're saying comparables,
correct,
to others in the market,
yes,
right?
Same years, amount of land, the square footage of it.
And condition, maybe?
Yes, if it's been renovated, those type of factors.
Gotcha. How important is it for buyers to have a home inspection done before they complete a purchase?
I think that it's vital. It doesn't matter if you're spending $100,000 or $1 million. You're making a huge investment, and you should know what you're buying.
Yeah, it's not a great time to be surprised. Some surprises in life can be fun, right? Some not so much. And when you're dealing with the kind of money that we're talking about, typical home costs these days, that's just not something that you want to have a bad surprise on, right?
Right. Yeah. If you're buying a home for $300,000 or more, when you think about spending, depending upon the size of the house, but you think about spending $300, $400 for a home inspection, that's a very small investment to have peace of mind of knowing what you're buying.
Yeah. Has it been pretty busy as people putting land up for sale, or has it been kind of more of a tighter inventory with people selling land right now? Or
the land market is seems like it's getting a little stronger. It's picking up a little bit more. It's still challenging sometimes to find land that's unrestricted, and that's something that a lot of people are looking for and desire. So that is something that is becoming more popular.
Okay.
But it seems to be picking up a little bit. A lot of times people they do more buying of land from the fall to the spring season, simply because you can see the terrain and everything better.
I never thought about that. That makes a lot of sense, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but we still sell it in the summer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe in the spring you can have a hot house market, and then in the fall you can have a hot land market, right?
Absolutely, through the winter months.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. What about the internet and its importance to a real estate professional? I know you mentioned the importance of having great photographs and that sort of thing, which I assume has to be for those online listings, right? So
Absolutely.
Is the internet a big part of what you do?
The internet is vital. Everyone is on the internet doing searches, whether they're looking for an auction to attend or they're looking for a property that they're wanting to purchase, whether it's land or it's actually a home. It is vital for you to have that presence on the internet, because our buyers, that's exactly where they're at. But also listers, people that are selling their property, they're looking on there as well. They want to know up front before they typically talk to an agent, what is their competition on the market, and when they put their property on there, what else is on the market and what is it listed for.
And is that something you guys really handle for either side of the transaction?
Absolutely. We handle every bit of it. We have our multi-listing system, our MLS, that we utilize, and we put all of our information out there. We share information with other agencies. It's not just local within a county border walls or anything like that. It's nationwide. And so anybody that is a buyer has access to be able to see any of our listings.
And I think that's an important thing too. Just because you may be based out of Smithville, Tennessee, I don't want people to get the wrong idea that that's the only people that can use you for help for buying or selling, right? I mean, you can help literally just about anyone, right?
We can help anyone. Me personally, my license is for the state of Tennessee, so anyone in the state, I can help purchase it or I can list their property either.
That's great. That's great. I think it's important too, for people to realize that while you can try to sell something on your own, you may be leaving money on the table.
Absolutely.
If you don't know what to list it as, or you don't market it properly, you don't have the right pictures, don't get the word out, you don't connect to the right buyer, right?
Well, you don't get the exposure that you
exactly.
get with a real estate agent, somebody that is licensed. Again, we're part of that MLS, and it's not just the MLS that we're associated with, but when I put on a listing into our MLS system, it immediately branches out nationwide, that anybody that has access to that has the ability to look at those properties. So if you're trying to do a for sale by owner and putting a sign in the yard, you're just not going to get the exposure. You're only going to get the exposure of someone that's driving by your house, basically.
You're limiting your own market, right?
Absolutely, you are. And it's also a security concern as well, because
That's a good point.
if somebody wants to see one of my properties that I have listed, they either have to contact me as the listing agent or they have to contact another realtor that's licensed. So we have the ability to verify who is actually coming into that person's home or onto their property.
Wow. That's something I haven't thought about.
Yeah, so if you're a for sale by owner, so you're just getting somebody to knock on your door, and you really may not know who's coming into your home.
In this day and age, it's not a bad idea to maybe pay attention to those sorts of things.
Absolutely. It definitely should be something that people think about.
Do you see a lot of people contacting you maybe from out of state that are wanting to move to Tennessee? Tennessee seems to be a really hot area right now. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, and that started probably 4 years ago, maybe getting close to 5. Around COVID, it seemed like that really started triggering things. So we have had a lot of people. Probably it slowed down about 2 years ago, but we still have those occasional that still come in that want to move to Tennessee, and they like the Middle Tennessee area.
Well, if someone has heard all the great services that you offer and they're like, I need to contact you, I need help buying, or I need help selling, or I want to do an auction, or whatever it might be, what's the best way to learn more about Town and Lake and contact you?
Well, there's multiple avenues to be able to do that. Of course, I personally am on Facebook, Betsy Smith. And also I have Betsy Smith, Town and Lake Realty. I have 2 different Facebook pages, as well as my website, betsysmithrealestate.com. But then the company itself is Town and Lake Realty and Auction. We're located on the Public Square in Smithville, 208 East Public Square. Our phone number is 615-215-7653. We also have a Facebook page. We also have a website, Instagram. So there's a lot of different ways to reach out
That's
to
great.
us.
Hey, you guys are doing something right. You're connected with everyone.
We
That's great. Well, Betsy, Ron, thank you so much for being on the program today. And I'm sure that people learned something about the real estate industry that's going to help them. And hopefully they can reach out to you if they need additional help. So,
Absolutely. And thank you for having us.
thank you so much. Thank you. Everybody stay tuned. We've got more of the program coming up in just a moment.
Great communities attract talented people to live, work, and raise their families. We've deployed a high-speed network that helps the best and the brightest enjoy better lives in our smart rural community. Great small businesses provide jobs that help workers earn a good living and provide for their families while strengthening local economies. We deploy fiber internet that helps those businesses succeed. Great doctor and patient relationships create bonds that lead to healthier lives. We deliver secure connections so every home and rural healthcare provider can connect to the best healthcare options. Great schools help knowledge-hungry students learn, think creatively, and follow their passions. We've built the network that helps their dreams take off. Great farmers provide the food that sustains and nourishes our nation and the world. We keep those farmers connected to the technology that ensures their crops can thrive. We've planned, engineered, and constructed a cutting-edge communications network. We're committed to delivering future-proof broadband so our friends, families, and neighbors can live rich lives in smart rural communities across America. Your community is our community. We're your rural broadband partners. You do great things. We make great things possible.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now to give the microphone over to Justin once more on this program for his segment we call Tech News Roundup.
We've got a lot of things going on this episode. So, listen, we're going from AI browsers to probably my most favorite thing that I have looked forward to ever presenting on this podcast. And we're going to talk about some underground transit in Nashville. So let's get this thing kicked off and let's get rolling.
Let's do this.
First, we're going to talk about AI browsers. And we talk about AI all the time. But a segment of the market that's really heating up lately is specific browsers dedicated to AI or AI integration. So I was not familiar until the past couple months with a company called Perplexity is the name of the company. And one of my buddies utilizes their software in their law firm, actually, is what they utilize it for. The partners in the firm are very heavy on, utilizing technology and trying to, be as effective as possible as they can. And so he's actually the one that introduced it to me. But I noticed a story this past week where they have introduced their own browser. Now, your big players, Google, Microsoft, Apple, are all trying to do something in integrating different things into their browsers. The thing, though, that is very interesting about these is now we've got a big third-party provider. Though it's quite expensive, and I don't see either one of us paying the $200 a month that it would require to be able to utilize it.
Yeah.
So it appears to be a great product, but it comes with a price. But the thing about these browsers is they're trying to redesign how you utilize the web. And so what they're aiming to do is if you are surfing the web and say you're planning a vacation, right? You're trying to plan a vacation. And so you start looking for a flight. Well, the browser is going to, okay, I know you're looking for a flight in this city. It may start saying, hey, Here's recommendations for hotels. Here's recommendations for transportation. Here's recommendations for activities in your destination city or whatever it may be, right? We're just going to try to learn, or hey, you're trying to find a recipe. And we're used to the summaries that we see now, which Google recently has expanded that outside of the US.
I actually like those. I use those quite a bit.
Into some other areas. We're used to that, but this is, going way beyond just answering a question and suggesting and maybe even giving pages, to go to. And, so, hey, all right, I've searched for this recipe, and maybe it's noticed you've clicked 3 recipe pages for something, and it may ask you, hey, is there something specific you're looking for? Okay. Are you looking for an alternative option of this, or a sugar-free option of this, or some sort of dietary restriction, and you don't want gluten, or maybe you're vegan, or whatever it may be? And so it may then try to help. Maybe it'll suggest a recipe on its own through its capabilities, or again try to find some more specific variations for you. And so it's interesting to see the dynamic of how smart things are getting. And are they going to outsmart us? But now I saved the best for last today. So something that I've looked forward to since it was announced. So there was a big announcement, and it leaked. It was not entirely a secret. I think they, as with anything of this magnitude, it leaked. But this is something right here in our area, technology news-wise, and that is that the Boring Company has been announced that they are going to build what is called the Music City Loop in Nashville. And so recently, Governor Bill Lee and the state government held a press conference and answered some media questions about a 10-mile underground transit system that's going to be built from Nashville International Airport to downtown Nashville, promising 8-minute travel times. Now, this will not be the first of its kind. They do have some of these in Las Vegas already that they're using for transit, and it's not a huge, 2, 3, 4 lane tunnel. These are smaller tunnels that are built for one-way traffic each way. But what is really interesting about this is it is going to be privately funded. So there is not going to be any cost to the residents of the state of Tennessee or to the taxpayers, which I thought was a very interesting aspect of the announcement. Now it is going to use Tesla vehicles and things like that in order to. There's not just anybody's going to be able to drive a vehicle on this. Of course, if it is privately funded, it's owned by them. That's what it takes to get done. The thing is, I don't see how this is feasible by the end of next year. Is when it's supposed to be completed.
Wow. I don't understand that either.
I mean, I think that is going to be an incredible feat if they are able to do it. And I've already seen online, and because of course this piqued my interest. I'm like, they've already got job postings out. They're trying to already, working on hiring their teams. And I mean, like, they want to hit the ground running.
Can you imagine 8 minutes from downtown to the airport? That's insane.
Yes. Yeah. And I have been told, and I'll be careful with this, by some insiders that I know, the routes planned, they've got some specs and other things on exactly where they want to navigate this.
Wow.
But it's interesting. Of course, I'm a resident of Smith County, and we have a large mine in Smith County. Really, 2 of them now. It used to be 3 until they merged them together underground. So really, we only have 2 mines now. And so we talk about mineral rights and stuff, and we understand, we've got a mine that's under us in large portions of Smith County. But it's interesting to think, and for a lot of people, it's going to be unusual, that there's going to be a tunnel running underneath them from the airport to downtown Nashville. What we know, if you've ever been to the airport, Nashville is a great city. It's a vibrant city, but the explosion in growth that it has experienced, especially over the past, 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
I made a trip out there with my church group on this past Saturday to go to a Nashville Sounds game, and we were coming back down Interstate 65, and I looked over and it is unreal to think what that skyline looks like now. and I was reminiscing over times I used to go to Bridgestone Arena quite a bit for Nashville Predators games. I was like, we'd walk through. Those were parking lots. And I remember when they first built a set of condos in the Sobro area, and they were pushing so hard to sell them. It was so difficult. And I look back like I should have bought as many of those as I could.
Yeah,
that would have been a great investment.
Yeah.
So it's going to make a great impact because of where it is and the growth, and it's going to be a highly utilized route. I'm excited about it. I hope it fulfills all its promises.
Yeah.
I hope this is, you don't want to overpromise on things.
Well, I wanted to say wait and see, but you may not have to wait long. So
no. And again, they've
if
already,
it goes as planned.
Yes. And they've already done this.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to mention his name, but I did say it is the Boring Company, which is one of Elon Musk's companies. I feel like we talk about him a lot, but when we're talking about tech and we're talking about innovation, he's
one of the main innovators in the world, for sure.
It's, it's hard to talk about these things, and that's something right here in our neighborhood. And it's interesting to me, he's got his companies building multiple data centers and a supercomputer out in Memphis area in West Tennessee, and now he's building a tunnel in Nashville. He's becoming pretty invested in the state of Tennessee and our infrastructure.
Who knows? He may move here one day. You never know.
So I know Governor Lee is excited about it.
Yeah.
I know the state of Tennessee is excited about it. Especially, I think they will welcome if anybody wants to make an investment, especially in infrastructure in our area, and do it privately funded. I think they'll welcome that any day of the week.
I would agree with that. I think most people would.
Yeah, I think we'll touch base on this in the future. I think this is one to keep an eye out on to see update wise.
Maybe when they finally open it, we'll have to go experience it and film a little road trip.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would be very neat. Listen, if they can hit that 8-minute travel time, you'll have a lot of people using it.
Absolutely. As long as they can afford it. I don't know what the cost will be for the privilege of using it. And now it's time to talk What's Up DTC. What's Up DTC, where we tell everyone where we're going to be for this month. And for the month of August, it's a very big event. And it is the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair, which will be at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon, which will be August the 14th through the 23rd. It's amazing and a real blessing that we have this fair so close to all of us in our area here in Middle Tennessee. So make sure, if you can at all, to go check out the fair. There's always a lot to do. There's plenty of food. You may not want to track it on your health tracker there. You may want to skip that day just because we don't want you to feel bad. But there's plenty of great food, great tasting food, lots of rides, and just something for everybody. So if you can at all, make sure you attend the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair, August the 14th through the 23rd. And like I said, we'll be there. I hope you can stop by and say hello. This is the end of season 2 of the Local Click.
Not possible.
It's possible. It's true. It's 24 episodes. This is episode number 24 in this podcast. Did you ever think we would make it this far?
You're too young for this to be the 24th episode.
Thank you very much. How much was that? $5? $10? I don't know. But it's very exciting. And honestly, it's not about what we're doing. It's about the type of guests that we have on the program. And we're blessed to have a lot of great listeners and a lot of great viewers who want to stay informed about all the things going on, not only in technology land, but also about their own fellow businesses in the community. And we just appreciate everybody being a part of this journey with us.
All of the guests that we've had in these past 24 episodes from our 2 that we had today, all the way back for 2 years now, have all been local business owners and small businesses that we are blessed to be able to have here and to have in our communities for what they do for us. And we're thankful for the listeners. Mm-hmm. We're thankful for those who tune in, who watch this, who listen to this, wherever you may be out there in podcast land on whatever platform it is. We do appreciate you being a part of this with us for these past 2 years, because we couldn't do it without our guest and we couldn't do it without you.
Thanks for joining us today, and make sure you join us each month for The Local Click. We'll see you next time.
Learn more about the show by visiting us online at thelocalclick.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast or video platform so you won't miss our next episode of The Local Click. See you next month.